Steam Next Fest is a cool event Valve does 3 times a year to give a sneak peek at different games that are still in development. It has tons of different demos to download and try out, and I tried a bunch of them. Today, we're going to take a look at my favorite demos that I tried during February's Next Fest, and if you're wondering which demos I didn't like, those are not going to be included in this video. My family's been telling me I'm way too negative, so positive vibes only. The first game I want to talk about is Gruel. Gruel is a fast-paced roguelike boomer shooter set in a weird temple called Gruel. The game is extremely fast-paced and fun, and I'm not sure if having a sprint button is common for boomer shooters, but it fits so well in Gruel. Shooting feels great, and the unique and strange weapons you can use make your runs feel different every time. You can collect different weapons in the shop or pick them up off the ground, and each weapon shoots and performs differently. I bought a gun called a Gooper at one point and gooped some enemies. It was pretty sick. The game's art style is dope. It's completely hand-drawn and gives off old-school Newgrounds vibes. The music is also very catchy and fun to listen to, and I never got sick of the music. It's some of my favorite music I listen to all Next Fest. The game's enemies look great, and there's a bunch of unique enemies that do different things and attack you in different ways. There's not too many friendly characters or NPCs. The only friendly characters in the demo were the shopkeepers. There's two-headed Jada Pinkett Smith, blood-eating demon Squidward, and an immortal homeless man. Overall, I enjoyed Gruel, and I can't wait to try out all the weird guns when the game fully releases. As a League of Legends fan, sometimes I want to find a game with similar gameplay mechanics, but in a way that isn't as rage-inducing and doesn't end with me being called racial slurs. And I think I found that game with Shape of Dreams. Shape of Dreams is an action roguelike MOBA that controls extremely similar to League, but it's a dungeon roguelike experience with up to 4-player co-op. The game has you going dungeon to dungeon or map to map, fighting different enemies until you get to the end of that map, getting a reward such as a new ability for your build or something called a concept, which alters the function of your abilities. This allows for wild build variety, making each run different. There's also permanent progression through skill trees that are located in the menu screen. Once you receive your reward, you can go to the next map and repeat until you reach a boss. Admittedly, I couldn't beat the boss. I did 2 runs and I could not beat him. I don't even want to hear about it. I just couldn't beat him. There are also different characters. I had only 2 unlocked at the start, but it looks like there would be plenty more, adding for even more variety in different runs. The combat is very fun and fast, and if you are an experienced MOBA player, your mechanics will pay off here. The game just plays super great, and everything works together very well. I never would expect a game like this to exist, but I'm glad it does. The gameplay is very addictive, and I'll keep my eyes on Shape of Dreams. Afterblast is an FPS roguelite where you play as an off-brand Obito Uchiha and progress through different dungeon stages until you get to a boss fight. There are several different guns and abilities that add so much variety to each run, and with how fast-paced the combat is, it was very hard for me to put this demo down. The game's shooting feels absolutely amazing, and you have 2 movement skills that are always unlocked that make the gameplay even faster: a dodge ability and a grappling hook ability. These abilities give you so many options in a fight and can save you from taking too much damage or be used aggressively to get closer to the enemies. You can use the grappling hook on enemies right before they die to heal yourself a little bit, which is useful for tough near-death moments in each run. Overall, I think the game is great. I love the gameplay. I think graphically it looks good, and I really enjoyed my time with the demo. Afterblast is a must-buy for me for sure. You know, sometimes when I get home from work, I just want to relax and chill. I just want to listen to a nice podcast or music and relax while playing a game. And I think that Solarpunk is the perfect relaxation game. Solarpunk is a survival crafting game, but a chill one, with no combat. It's all about farming, collecting resources, and crafting tools as well as a house. As you continue to farm and collect, you can unlock more and more advanced crafting recipes, eventually unlocking the ability to make an airship, allowing you to fly island to island and explore and collect more resources. The demo had limited progression, so I didn't get too far, but I'm very excited to play the full release when it drops. I never played the first Chernobylite, but the demo for Chernobylite 2 got me extremely interested in the series. The game is a full-blown RPG. At the beginning of the game, you can pick your class: Eliminator, which specializes in melee combat; Emissary, which specializes in ranged combat; and Scientist, which is this game's mage class. The Scientist class is extremely unique to this game and is a cool take on the mage class, but there are other classes too, which are different combinations of the 3 main classes. Each class has different stat points, and at first I didn't think too much of these stat points. I figured they just applied to combat and gear, but no. These stats can affect you in dialogue, unlocking different dialogue options throughout the game, as well as offering you different ways to problem solve within the environment. I don't want to go too in-depth on the story because I don't want to spoil anything, and I didn't play the first, so I don't fully understand too much of what's going on. but the story beats I did see made me extremely interested in the series as a whole. I really enjoyed my time with this demo, the gameplay was fun, and I can't wait to play the full version of the game when it releases. I enjoyed this demo so much, I added the first game to my cart to buy and play at a later date. I highly, highly, highly recommend checking Chernobylite 2 out. Real World completely blindsided me by how fun and unique the game is. At first, I didn't expect to like it at all, but after I played it, it became one of my favorite demos I played and one of my most anticipated games on this list. Real World is an open world bicycle game that encourages exploration and has you participating in races to further the story. The game has you racing for rep, and chat, that means reputation. The bike customization was actually one of my favorite parts of this game because not only does the bike perform differently with each part, it also changes cosmetically. You can also change bike parts whenever you want, so no need to pause game flow and go somewhere to change up your bike. The bike customization bleeds into the exploration of the world, encouraging you to explore different areas to find bike parts or new challenges that could reward you with parts or rep. With the entire game being based around riding your bike, it better control well, and it does. It feels great to ride around on your bike and participate in different races. Physics do play a slight role in your exploration and the races. Going downhill increases your speed and going uphill slows you down, but you have a boost meter you can use to mitigate the penalty of going uphill or use it to go faster downhill. There are also bell shrines, which act as Sheikah towers and unfog your map as you find them. Finding them also increases your boost meter. The game's art style is great. I love the minimalist cel-shaded graphics, and I think the music is good. Everything fits the style of this game perfectly. Even the fast travel stations are little porta potties. Real World completely took me by surprise, and I'm so excited to recreate some of my childhood bike crashes in this game. Real World is one of my most anticipated games on my list, and I highly encourage you guys to look into it. What would happen if Walt Disney decided to kidnap your girlfriend and take her to an evil version of Magic Kingdom? Who knows, but the developers at Atmos Games thought about it and created Twisted Tower, a first-person action-adventure game with atmospheric horror reminiscent of the BioShock series. Now, I'm not normally a horror game fan, but BioShock is unique in this case, as it's one of my favorite games of all time. And when I saw Twisted Tower on Steam, I knew I had to give it a try. This game wears its BioShock influences on its sleeve, and I'm glad that it does, because the environment and storytelling got me immersed within the first few minutes of the game. I've never seen a concept like this executed so perfectly, and I like the way Disney and other childhood themes are used in the game to scare the player and add to the atmosphere of the setting. The Twisted Tower itself looks similar to Cinderella's castle. Some of the enemies look like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. The Donald Duck enemies even make his sound when they die, that There are enemies that look like the Toys R Us giraffe Joffrey, or even a little phone car toy that attacks you. The game's themes are consistent and add to the immersion as you play. There's even the Disney World font on some of the signs in the game. The music adds to the atmosphere even more. There's creepy ambient sound effects, and to a wuss like me, it's pretty spooky. The gameplay is very similar to the first BioShock game. Nothing too crazy, but it's fun and feels great. Combat becomes even more enjoyable as you unlock different weapons. There are also fun puzzles, and you get a hook shot at one point in the demo. I feel like the gameplay is similar enough to BioShock that you can clearly tell where the inspiration came from, but unique enough to set it apart and be its own thing. When it comes to the story in the demo, it wasn't expounded upon too much. All I know is Mr. Twister is this world's take on Walt Disney, and he took your girlfriend, and that's about it. Also, side note, I found a Fallout Easter egg during my playtime. Look at this. I caught y'all. That's Vault-Tec right there. Anyways, the demo was extremely enjoyable, and I loved playing through it. Walking through the environment alone was enough for me, but with the fun combat, great atmosphere, great art style, and this dude crapping himself, put it on a whole nother level, and this will be a must-buy for me when it fully releases. I have had my eye on Ruffy and the Riverside for a long time. Seeing the game's amazing art style and graphics combined with its N64 inspired levels and game design seemed almost too good to be true. But after playing this demo, Ruffy rose to not just being one of my most anticipated indie titles, but one of my most anticipated titles, period. This game fully hits you with that Nintendo 64 nostalgia, but with unique mechanics that set it apart from other 3D platformers. The gameplay is extremely fun and nostalgic. It has fun platforming that feels great and a unique swap power allowing you to solve puzzles and change the terrain. The game's Mario 64 inspirations are clear, having a hub world similar to Peach's castle, and in each level you collect stars and then return to the hub world to then use those stars to unlock subsequent levels. The hub world is greatly expanded upon though, and has different mysteries and puzzles to solve, making it more than just a place to change levels, but almost a giant open world level itself. Ruffy and the Riverside stuck with me after playing it, and I am extremely excited for the full release. If you have a love for platformers, or N64 nostalgia, or both, I highly recommend looking into this game. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time. And it's rare when I see a game that got its inspiration from Zelda do it in a unique or interesting way, but the Knightling proved itself to be fun and unique, and earned the top spot on this list. The game grabs you right away with its vibrant art style and charming music, and as you play through the demo and interact with the villagers and side quests, you slowly learn the mechanics and combat of the game. The game feels amazing to play, the movement feels amazing, running around and sliding on your shield is fun and adds different traversal options. The combat is fun and sometimes tough, having a parry mechanic as well as a shield throwing mechanic. You also have a special ability that you can use after successful hits. There's a skill tree that unlocks additional abilities, though it was locked in the demo, so I'm not really too sure what's all available there. The exploration is fun and it feels good exploring different areas and completing side quests. The character designs are also great. The Knightling's design is cool, and I like how the villagers look as well. Even the enemies look cool. To me, this game feels like a modern Nintendo game, and that's high praise. This game has fun and engaging mechanics, and a great looking art style. The Knightling was my favorite game I played during the Steam Next Fest, and I really hope you all give it a look.
Dare not forget about your academic ambitions, my friend.
Thanks everybody for watching. This video has really taught me that I need to invest more time into indies and that I've been really missing out on some great titles, and it's time for me to change that. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I have more videos in the works right now. Thank you guys for all your support recently, and I promise I'll stick to the one video a week. Keep an eye out for a review coming soon, and you should also check out my Minecraft World Tour that I posted. Thank you guys all again. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Peace.